Yo, what's up, y'all? It's Hip Hop Raised Me back on the scene, and today I'm gonna draw a lady on the couch that we drew in the previous tutorial, and right now I'm just doing a little couple of touch ups on the couch, and I'm gonna add a little bit more details on this scene right here. And like I said, I'm using the tools on the left of the screen, the draw tools and the fill tools and the layer tools. Right now I'm drawing a vase for the table, a little vase with some flowers. When you drawing with vector, you don't gotta stress yourself out. You just lay down the lines and the points, and then you start shaping and molding from there. That's how you do vector art. So there's no need for a stylus or a pen. Even though there is a pencil tool inside the draw panel on the left, and you can use a pencil to do vector art, but I don't use that tool. I rarely use that tool because I find that just drawing lines and shapes makes the process more simple, and majority of the people that use this program operate the same way. So I'm drawing this vase, and you can see I'm not too worried about perfection and symmetrical accuracy, because this is art. Your imperfections is what make your art unique to yourself. So a couple of imperfections, in my opinion, gives the art character. But you still try to do the best you can. When I lay the points down, I move them around with the translate points tool, and you could press T for a shortcut for that tool. The letter T is a shortcut for it. So when you lay the points down with the add points tool, the A is a shortcut for add points tool. And that's the tool you use to draw the lines. And then you use the translate points tool, and the shortcut for that is T. And that's what you use to move the lines around, move the points around rather. Right now I'm drawing a flower that's going in the vase, and I selected the 4 points in the center of that stem, and then I press C, which is the shortcut for the curvature tool. And I smoothed out those lines, those points. And right now I'm drawing the flower part of the thing, of the flower. And I'm gonna tell you, when you draw multiple shapes within one layer, try to draw your shapes in order of what's going below or what's going above, because in the order you draw the shapes, that's the order that they're gonna lay on top of each other. Like I drew the stem first, and then I drew the petals second, and then I drew the center of the flower third. So then the center of the flower is on top, the petals is below that, and the stem of the flower is below that. But if your shapes are not in an order, you could use the select shape tool, which is in that fill panel, and then you select the shape and use the arrow keys, the up and down arrow keys, to move the shapes up and down. Now I drew one flower. I'm gonna duplicate that flower, and I duplicated that flower, and I'm gonna make a new one, and I'm gonna change the color of the petals, so we can make it unique to the original flower. And then we'll duplicate it again. So we have this vase consists of 4 layers, which is going to be the vase and the 3 flowers. Each of those are separate layers, and I'm going to put all 4 of those layers within a group. So here's a little advice. When you're working on a file, you're going to have a bunch of layers. So, if you want to go from one layer to the next, instead of just searching within that layers panel on the bottom right corner of the screen, you could use the select layers tool in the layers panel on the left side of the screen. And that tool, when you click on that tool, you could click anywhere on your scene and it will automatically select the layer that you click on, and you can start working on that layer. That's a very handy tool. Previous versions of this program didn't have that tool, and when they added that tool, it made the process of animating so much better. That was one of the better tools they had, but that they added. Unfortunately, there's no shortcut for the select layers tool, so you have to just go there and click on it. And you see I duplicated the vase and I added it to the other table. So that's 2 vases. And now I'm gonna add a carpet on the floor just to give the room a little bit more decor. I'm gonna delete that circle and I'm gonna add a square carpet. And let me tell you, I could have used perspective points and perspective lines to draw this room, but I just eyeballed the perspective. But I'm gonna be in future tutorials drawing perspective drawings, and I'm gonna use the perspective lines to make things more accurate. But in this scene, I'm just eyeballing perspective, like as far as the carpet and the couch and the tables. They are in a perspective fashion, meaning it's a 1-point perspective and it's showing a 3D picture within a 2D surface. So in this carpet here, it's nothing major. I'm gonna just draw a square within a square within a square to give the carpet a little bit of flavor, and just put different colors within the carpet. And then I'm going to add some frilly lines at the edge on the left and the right side of the carpet. And you see I'm adding those lines, and I'm going to change the color of the lines from black to another color by right clicking on the color and selecting those lines with the create shape tool and press enter. Because like I mentioned in previous tutorials, to change the color of lines you gotta right click on the color. To change the color of the fill you gotta left click on the color. And now I'm duplicating those frilly lines, and I'm gonna put them on the other side of the carpet. And as you notice, the lines are thicker on the frill. That's because I used the width tool. The width tool, when you select the points and then use the width tool, you can make the lines thick or thin, or you can make the points of the line thick or thin. Alright, so now I'm duplicating those frilly edges of the carpet and putting it on the other side of the carpet. And I eyeballed the perspective pretty good because the lines match almost perfect. And that's how the room looks rendered right there, with a little bit more decor added to it. And what I'm gonna do from this point, I'm gonna draw a female sitting on the couch because she's gonna be another character. I'm gonna have her sitting on the right side of the couch. First, I'm gonna draw a stick figure. When you do an animation, stick figures are important because they guide everything, especially when you changing positions of the same character. Stick figures help a lot. So I just always use stick figures before I draw my characters. I always use guidelines of stick figures and shapes so I could have an idea of what I'm gonna do. And as if you noticed, the stroke on that stick figure is the color of the carpet frills, so I changed the color to black. See, now the stick figure's black now, but previously it was the color of the stroke from the carpet. So now you see me working on the stick figure, which is a guide. I always recommend you use stick figures, guidelines, and shapes to get an idea of what you about to draw. But I've been doing this so long, sometimes I don't do that. Like when I drew that couch and the tables and all that, I just freestyled all of that. And the couch and all that's not perfect. Sometimes I want to get my art real detailed and I do that, but when I work on it and I want to get all those details down from my personal projects, it take a lot of time. But for the tutorial's sake, I'm just laying things down in a simple manner. Even though a lot of my art is simple also, but sometimes I add a little bit more detail. Like on the couch, I would add shadows. Like the vertical parts of the couch, I would put a different tone than the horizontal parts. Like the horizontal surfaces, I will put different tones to have shadow. But for this tutorial's sake, I didn't do all that because I was moving fast. And maybe in some other tutorials, I'll make the artwork a little bit more detailed, but the tutorials is going to be longer. I'm just drawing this girl right here with her legs crossed. And like I said, it don't look perfect now, but this is vector art. So you just lay stuff down and you shape and mold it to your desire of how you really want it to end up to be. So you see I'm shaping up her legs. And I like drawing females because they got all the curves on them and it's fun to draw them. And they like to, and they have on nice clothes and all that, and it's fun to draw them. So, yeah. This animation journey, it takes time. And like I said, you just got to focus on scene to scene, and make sure you have a script. Because if you don't got no script, if you didn't write nothing down, you're not gonna have nothing. You're not gonna have anything to animate. You're just gonna be collecting all this knowledge, and you're not gonna don't know what to do from there. So the first thing you gotta do is write. Write some stories. Write some scripts, even if it's a 1-minute script. 1-minute cartoon to get you far in life. Next thing you know, you making full-fledged theatrical films, you know what I'm saying? And I'm gonna tell you another thing, the people that make it, that get that successful in animation is those that put the time into it, because this is a time consuming art craft. But if you put in like at least an hour or two a day into it, you're gonna get a lot done. It's gonna add up. Because I'm going to tell you, sometimes you're going to do things that take a lot of time. And then there's going to be processes that move real fast. So don't get stressed out when you get stuck on something that take a lot of time. Because one scene might take you 2-3 hours or longer to do. And then the next 5 scenes take 5 minutes each. Because you're going to be duplicating a lot of scenes, and as your journey goes on, you're going to be reusing a lot of your art, because you can import elements from one file to another and then manipulate that element. Like if you save these shoes right here that I'm drawing for this young lady, or you can open up another file, take those shoes and import them into another file and change the colors and positions of the shoes, and it'll be a whole new pair of shoes that you don't have to redraw. So that's gonna save you a lot of time. You know what I mean? So in the beginning, it's gonna take a little bit more time, but as the journey goes on, you're gonna be saving a lot of time, because you can reuse your assets. And as you can see, I'm going up and down on the layers panel. The layers panel is at the bottom right hand corner of the screen. All those layers are layers within this file right here. So you see the layers add up real quick. That's why I said you're going to be using the select layers tool a lot, which is in that panel on the left under layers. That you're going to be using that tool a lot, because you don't want to be going up and down in that panel looking for layers, especially when you moving fast. Like you see me right now, I'm working with this tutorial, I'm naming the layers, but when you working by yourself and you're not worried about what, because other people are not going to see the project files you're working on, you might not name all your layers. You're just going to create them and start drawing. So you're not going to know which is what by looking at the layers panel. So you're going to be using the select layers tool. That tool is going to save you a lot of time. I'm drawing the hips on the girl, and drawing her blouse. And you can see she got some cleavage going on, because she's a fine young lady and she rocking her little outfit. And I'm taking those lines I'm using to enhance her chest, and then I'm using the curvature tool. Like I said, the curvature tool, you could click it on the draw panel on the left, or press C as the shortcut. And you see I'm drawing a belly button, and I'm using a star because she has a belly button ring. And as you can see, the stroke on it is pretty thick, so you can really barely see it, but I use the width tool to make the width of the stroke thinner, so to make the star more visible and the stroke not too thick. Now things are coming into shape with this young lady. Now I'm drawing the upper anatomy parts of her body. I used the hide edge tool, and I'm shaping the upper portion of her body, and then I'm gonna use the curve tool to curve out the pointy edges. Sometimes the curve tool get a little wacky, and you gotta press Control Z to undo the mistake you made. So don't worry about making mistakes. Sometimes it's not even you that made the mistake. It could be the program or the computer you're using, but you can always press Control Z. Or it could be a mistake you made, but you press Control Z, and then that mistake is gone, and you could do it over. Right now I'm drawing her arms. And I'm gonna tell you something about vector art. My art is a real cartoony style, but you could really get some art that's really closer to a realistic look or a comic book look. I'm gonna do some tutorials with some more serious art, but for right now, I'm just doing like simple art. But in the future, I'll do some tutorials where the art is more detailed, like the faces and the body parts and the elements within the art. I have more shadows and more realistic looks. Cause with vector, just to show you that vector art is very capable. It's just as capable as pixel based art or drawing with the stylus. It's just a different style of drawing, and in my opinion, it's easier because once you lay down the points, you can move them around. Right now, I'm drawing the hands on Shorty. A lot of people have difficulty drawing hands, but they real simple. Just follow what I'm doing here. You know, if you could draw a square and an appendage off the bottom and the side of the square, you got a hand. I'm drawing the knuckles right there, and then I use the create shape tool to solidify the lines. The create shape tool is under the fill panel on the left of the screen. You see the pinky, I'm drawing the point for the tops of the fingers. The pinky is a lot smaller than the rest of the fingers, so I bring the pinky all the way down. And you see I'm just moving points around for the hand. And now the hand is coming to fruition. And then, you know, you're going to have files with just hands. And then you could change the color of the hands and reuse them. And because the hands, like I showed you, the things that make a lot of emotional expression in the face, like the eyebrows and the mouth and the eyelids, the hands also have a lot of emotion and expression in them also. A lot of people talk with their hands. So if you can animate their arms and their hands, that'll be a good thing. I'm going to put some fingernails on Shorty. And I'm going to put everything on the same layer. But like I said, you know, I drew the hand first, then I draw the fingernail second, because I'm going to put the fingernails on top of the hand. And that's what you got to do. And keep your shapes in a certain order from bottom to top. You draw the bottom shapes first, and then draw the top layers within that order. And if you miss that order, you use the select shape tool and use the up and down arrow key to move the shapes up and down to the desired location that you want the shape to be in. See, I drew her fingernail with a little white shim on it. Make it look a little shiny. And maybe I'll make it small because that's the pinky nail. Then I copy and paste that nail. Then I copy and paste it again. Make it look a little bigger because that's for the middle finger. Then I copy and paste it again. Make it a little smaller for the index finger. Then I copy, paste it again, and flip it around. You flip it around by pressing that button at the top of the screen to the top right of the screen. It got the buttons that'll flip it left or right or up and down. So now that I got that hand, I duplicate that hand, create well, let me just name some layers first for the sake of the tutorial. Like I said, when I'm working on my own projects, sometimes I don't even name the layers because I be moving so fast and fluid. I use the select layers tool when I want to get a layer, but right now I just duplicated the hand, and now make it a little smaller. You know, yeah, this is what animation is about. It's about spending time drawing. You gotta draw a lot, and draw some more. And then you start animating your drawings. That's the beautiful thing about this program. You draw the art first, and then you can animate the art. And let me tell you something. This is important right here. Don't get stuck on one method of animating. Look at my tutorials as inspiration because there's multiple ways to do the same thing. You can move your characters around by creating bones. You can move them around by translating the points, or you could do a frame by frame sequence. That's 3 different ways you can animate. So, and each scene might have a different requirement on what it takes to get that scene done. That's why I say storyboarding is important. That's where you map your plan out on how you're gonna tackle that scene. So sometimes I might do a frame by frame sequence. Sometimes I'll use bones, and sometimes I'll move points around. And that's how I get my animation done. I don't stick to one method and just be stuck on that. I do different things. Every scene is different. And try to keep your scenes short. You don't want to make scenes like minutes and minutes long. Because not only you animating, you also directing. Each scene is like a different camera view and clip a director does in a movie, but instead you doing it and through animation. So you gotta picture your scenes in your mind like you a director. Like, you might draw this girl sitting on the couch from a front view, and then you might do a scene where you watching her from the top view or the side view, or zoomed out or zoomed in, or you could move the camera around within the scene. You know what I'm saying? Because not only you an animator, you a director. That's what it takes to be a solo animator, because you gotta understand, like I said before, those big animation studios have hundreds, thousands of people working on a project, but you doing all this by yourself. Or maybe you got a helping hand. So you got to wear a lot of hats. You a director. You a animator. You a illustrator. You a musician and a sound designer. You a voice actor. You a video editor. You doing it all. And it all could be done. Don't let it intimidate you. It's nothing. It's literally nothing. It's just in a day's work. You just got to take it step by step. You go on my website, hiphopraiseme.com, and I got an ebook. You don't even have to download it. You just click on the tab and read it right there on the website. And it tells you all the elements that it take to be a solo animator. And the beautiful thing about animation is you could create a movie or a short or whatever you want, and any props you need, you could draw it. You working with regular film production, It costs a lot for props and scenery. But in animation, you get all the props and scenery you want, and your only limit is your imagination and skills. And you don't have to be perfect with your art, you know? You could the charm is in your personal touch, you know? Look at South Park. Their animations and drawings is real simple, especially when they started. Right now, they stepped it up a little bit, but look at the difference between South Park production and a Disney production. They both on two different sides of the spectrum, but they both successful, because this is art. If people want something, if you strive for realism, you could just might as well watch a regular movie. But this is art. You know what I'm saying? You could get funky with it. Right now I'm adding eyeshadow to Shorty eyes, to give her some flavor. But like I was saying, this is art. So you don't have to be all realistic with your drawings. That's just my opinion. But if you a skilled artist and you want your stuff to be more realistic, well, I mean that's great too. But if you just starting out and you not the best illustrator, that's fine. Just do what you can. And you can also watch a lot of tutorials on YouTube on how to elevate your artistry, your illustrations, They teach you everything you need to learn on YouTube. And then you just look at what I'm doing and you can learn a little something here on how to draw a little bit, especially with vector art, because that's what I'm showing you, how to draw with vector art and how to animate vector art. With the face, like how I do with the face, I do the layers. I do each part of the face on a different layer because you never know when you might have to animate a part of the face separate from the rest of the face. So I always do the face within a group. And like say if I'm doing a character and like a character in a crowd, so I'm drawing like 10, 20 different people in the crowd. I don't do the face with a bunch of different layers. I just draw the face one time on one layer for somebody that's in the crowd, because those faces are not detailed and you're really not gonna use those faces on multiple occasions. They just they like extras in a movie. Instead of drawing the eyes in detail like that, you're not gonna be seeing those folks close up, so you might just use a dot for the eyes and a line for the mouth, because they just background characters. So you don't gotta be as detailed with drawing those faces. But for this face right here, which is a lady that's gonna be part of the scene, I do the face on multiple layers. I'm just drawing the lips right now, and in the next tutorial, I'm gonna draw the different mouth shapes, so she'll be able to talk. But right now, I'm just drawing her mouth at rest. And in the next tutorial, I'll do the mouth shapes, cause if it was up to me, I would be here all day with y'all. You know what I'm saying? I have 10-hour tutorials. But you can't do that. I know y'all got things to do. Y'all got money to make and you need to spend time with your family and friends and all that. So I try to make the tutorials as short as I can, but with as much information as I could pack within this short period of time. And always look at my videos previous and after, because a lot of my tutorials are gonna bounce off each other. So, like the guy that I drew previously, he's gonna be part of this scene I'm gonna animate with this young lady. They're gonna interact with each other in the future tutorials. And yeah, right now I'm drawing an ear and I'm gonna put an earring on shorty. You see, little triangle earring on her, make it red. And then I use the width tool. And I'm gonna tell you the stroke on her is a thick stroke, and that's because I could have made her bigger and the stroke would have been thinner. But you know, you live and you learn. I could always make a bigger, and I could always make a bigger now. I moved the eyes to her right, because to my left to her right, I moved the eyes because for some reason I don't like the eyes staring blank. I like the eyes to point in a direction when I'm doing my art. It just makes me feel better when I push her eyes to a direction, like she's not just staring in the blank space. Right now I'm drawing her hair. And you see the stick figure in the back, I'm going to erase it in a minute. And the guidelines on her face, I'm going to erase that also. I just hide it. I just hide those elements for future reference instead of deleting them. And right now I'm using the curvature tool to curve the sharp points that I don't want to be sharp. But some of them on the hair I'm gonna leave sharp, like that, like the tips. I'm gonna leave those sharp, but the rest I'll curve them. And I'm just shaping and molding the hair. You know. See, I just hit the guidelines and move her face up a little bit. Have her looking up a little bit. I hit the stick figure. And that's her rendered right there, sitting on the couch. I hope y'all enjoyed this tutorial. I'll make her head a little bit bigger. And that's her rendered right there. I'm going to show a render of her close up. Okay, this is a render of her close up. And this is how it's going to look. And this is her zoomed out.
Hey y'all,
Peace.
it's your favorite animator, Hip Hop Raised Me. Support the cause and purchase my movie on my website. It's the funniest movie in the universe, and it got all the adult content you looking for. It's about two friends living on the edge with the monkey on their back. All the proceeds of your purchase is going towards me being a full-time animator and living the dream. Click on the link in the description and get your instant digital copy of Stanky and Taco remixed, and you can thank me later.